Gordo, Selves, welcome to the Here's How podcast. This one's an exciting one. I think we've got a lot of subjects that I'm hoping to dive into. Some that I wasn't even aware that we may dive into, which is really interesting because of some of the alternative therapies and health benefits that some people might not be aware of, especially that you guys being I would say veterans.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes I think veterans in my head. I think like super old person that's been through Nam. Like
Hashtag Canada.
yeah. But yeah. So those could be some really cool stuff to get into. But I think one thing that was really in my mind, and it's one that we have had quite a few people that share their experiences with entrepreneurship, and we always get a different take. And you talked about it a little bit, right, when we first started before the podcast, and it's kind of seeing that opportunity gap where there's something that you start gaining interest in, but there's just like nothing available for it, and you see that opportunity also at the crossroad with how you were telling me, where it was like I was trying to figure out if something sticks. And finally, we're. I think you're kind of there, right? So
it feels like that.
Yeah.
I often say that I have no metric to compare it to because it's kind of a first venture.
Yeah.
Right. So, all I can do is day to day recognize that my doors are still open.
Yeah.
So, that's where I'm kind of seeing it. Literally every day is a success, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
There are days there's more of a grind.
Yeah.
It feels like often lately, but no, it's going good. Especially not too long ago, I partnered up with Gordo, so he helped me a lot as well,
Yeah.
and we were able to bounce together. And this was fun about our similar backgrounds being in the military, is we were able to function really well, which is really cool and a blessing for me for sure.
Let's kind of start there. Like, where are both of your journeys pretty similar in respect to getting into the military, or how did that shape? Like, I remember like when we went to high school, you were already involved, right?
Yeah, I was in cadets. So I started out in the cadet program. And then for me, it was a childhood dream. It was going to be a calling.
Yeah.
I after even actually technically while I was still in high school, I had joined the reserves. So I joined the military. I I had enough points to graduate in the first semester.
Okay.
So I actually left for my basic training while high school was still not finished technically. Okay. So my second semester, I left a couple months in.
No way.
Went off to the military, and c'est la vie for
after
that, right? And then did military 2000 or reserves right up until 2012, and in 2012 I switched over to full time to the regular force, as we call it. But I started very young. And even before that, I was the kid drawing army drawings at school, middle school. Like I was, it was a calling for me for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it pretty similar for you, or?
No. I grew up in the military. My dad was in the military for like 22 years, and I hated it.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I moved a lot. It builds good resilience, I guess, in kids, but it still kind of sucks to move that much. So no, I was never going to join the military. I took police foundations in Ontario at college. I was either do that or carpentry. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was in high school. And then I thought I'll become a cop. Did all the testing for it, passed everything. I started applying and didn't get hired. Thought about the military, was working a dead-end job. Then I put my application in to become a military police officer.
Okay.
And there's like a tryout for it.
Okay.
And they kept on moving the date further and further and further.
Okay.
My brother was in the military at this time as an infantier, so like a regular soldier.
Okay.
And he was like, my unit just got stood up to go to Afghanistan in like less than a year and a half.
Wow.
Around a year and a half training. And I was just working a dead-end job. And I thought like, maybe I just wanted to do something adventurous.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't know.
Yeah.
And I went into the recruiting station on a Wednesday and changed my occupation, my MOS, from MP to infanteer, and I left Saturday for basic training. And that was February, and then I was in my unit by October, and then I was in Afghanistan by the next summer.
No way.
Yeah, so like just over a year from joining the military, I was in Afghanistan.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so it's fast, and then from there it was just like the little carrot gets dangled in front of you. Yeah, okay, I'll do that, and I took it the whole way up to our Tier 1 Special Forces, and kind of maxed that out. And I don't know, there's more to life than just like doing the war. Yeah, as cool as it is, you're basically like an extreme professional athlete. Yeah, if that makes sense. You do like skydiving, dirt biking, all the same courses. They bring in like world-class experts to teach you how to drive, rally car driving, shooting, all that stuff. They just hire the expert civilians to come in and teach you. Yeah. But there's no war. So it's kind of like, I don't know, doing it for fake wasn't really my thing. There's too much more to life. Yeah. And now here I am in Moncton, graphic designer, artist.
I love it. What a career change.
Yeah, it's wild. It's such a trip.
It's kind of crazy how the trajectories of life, like from going where you started, you're saying like, I will never fucking do this. And then it's like, well, I could do it because right now what I'm doing, I fucking hate. And then you go and do it and you're like, well, it's kind of like Maple Leaf for a little bit until you figure out like, are we actually going to do this? Did you see any like full on action? Like,
Yeah. I was in Afghanistan 2008, 2009. I was in a thing called a reconnaissance platoon. So you go like out at nighttime behind enemy lines and you scope out where the ground force is going to do an attack. Or if the big headquarters wants information about like this town or something, you'll go at nighttime, get inserted by a helicopter or walk up in the mountains, and then you're self-sufficient for like 3-4 days, reporting back everything that's happening in that town that they want information on, saying, hey, maybe don't walk there because they're not using it, so it's probably IED'd, improvised explosive device, and you're just feeding all this information so that when they actually do the attack or search or whatever it is, that they're best set up for it.
That's wild.
So I did that. And then 2017 in Iraq, in Mosul, and that was pretty kinetic as well. So, and I have 2 other tours, but they were mostly administrative, I would say, compared to like war.
Yeah. How was your experience? Pretty similar in respect to like on the ground kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, I think Gordo he achieved definitely a lot more than I was had the opportunity to. We were similar in the sense that I started military police myself in the reserve. So when he said that he did his policing course, I did it here in Moncton at Olton's. Yeah. And then I had gone military police reserve. And in 2010, I went to Afghanistan. It was actually the last combat tour for Canada. And then the rotation after us was actually a cleanup and basically start the tear down, basically. So from the very beginning of my career, I stepped into basically doing it for real. So what I took away from that at 21, 22, I think I was around at the time, was everything. My entire career after that point was, let's pretend this is real. So like training, to me wasn't just training. It wasn't just, often we get presented with like, okay, well, you can't go over the wall because of safety reasons, or in Canada there's a lot of red tapes on things, right? It's like, okay, we get to the wall, okay, it's a tall wall, let's safety call, let's go around it so that nobody gets injured, and then whatever, right? But to me, I actually had the experience to imagine, okay, well, let's pretend this is real. Let's pretend these are the cards you were actually dealt with. You can win with a bluff and poker, right? So what if this scenario is not, we can't go over, we have to go around, just simply because there are, I don't know, let's pretend bullets over top. So that's why we don't want to go over, we would want to go around. So to me, I felt like I always had a different experience my entire career into the military. So, but yeah, in 2010, when I came back from Afghanistan, I ended up trying to go full-time military police, but there wasn't any positions at the time. It sounds similar as well. so I ended up switching to medic, actually. So that's where I went full time. I went to medic. And then I was attached to the infantry, 3 RCR, the 3rd Royal Regiment, Canada, which I think was Gordo's one of his previous units.
Okay.
So we're similar in the sense that we've been to the same buildings. Some that he may have gone to that I haven't, but no, I also had an opportunity to do my recce course, my reconnaissance course. I was had an opportunity to do a mountain operations course. You know, what was fun about being a medic is it's easy to kind of justify, hey, I should do this course because you could use a medic as an asset. Right, on your specialized team or your niche team. And the answer was pretty much always, yeah, that sounds right. Right, versus when I was in, you know, military police, it was like, well, you know, policing, it's not really the thing.
Yeah, he was in a unique, he was more the unique support position, I guess you could say. It doesn't even, it's not even like fair to call it support really, because they're doing the job with you, right? And they have to cut their teeth and do the same course and suffer the same way. If anything, it's worse for guys like that because they're not like, we're kind of indoctrinated from the very beginning. Hey, this is going to be terrible. This is going to suck. So get ready. And you get used to it. But for guys coming from outside units, medics, signalers, guys working radios, different specialties, for them to come in and go on the courses, they get like a big hats off from all of us. Like people think there's like a tiered system, the way that you look at it, like, oh, a special forces guy is this compared to this. Like the people that actually do that aren't really like the respected people. Like you'll find a special forces, I can't do my job without having everyone there to like help me. It doesn't function without it. Like, sure, you may be the guy going through the door, but like, how did you get there? How did you get your kit? How are you talking to the planes? How are you doing this? Who's going to save your life? Like I have advanced life-saving courses and stuff, but it's still not to the same level as a trained medic. So really important. But it's really important just for me to like put it out there that everyone tries to look at in the military and, oh, this guy is either a real soldier, you do this, do that. And it's like, it's not about that. It's not about it at all.
Everybody has their position and contributes to the whole success, right?
And the training thing that you always hear, it like, it's better to sweat in the gym than bleed on the battlefield, right? Like you better be training like as if this is real. That's the scariest part, is Canada is very reluctant for global engagement with our military, and it's kind of a bad thing because that means that we're only ever doing it for fake, right? So there is like a, not a complacency, but a kind of like a pacification of like violence and like what the real world's actually like. So sometimes you get like institutional thinking where it's just like, if this was real life, you wouldn't have made that decision. It's like,
I'd like to add on, it's tough to sometimes get into the mindset if you haven't experienced it as well. Like until you've gone and been somewhere where all the red tape was removed, and you quite literally had to figure it out. You know, driving over a little culvert that had, you know, a nail sticking out that busted your tire. Now you're in the middle of the desert with a busted tire. What do you do, right? Like until you've actually done it and or even like poker, one a hand bluffing.
You don't know.
It's sometimes it's challenging to put your, but once you do, then it obviously becomes easier because then you have an experience of like, okay, I'm going to pretend this is real.
The enemy gets a vote, right? So it's not just like, oh, we go and win. Doesn't matter if they're like in the middle of the desert and have tools from the 1980s. No, it doesn't matter. They definitely get a vote, and that's kind of the bad part of us not being engaged in some sort of combat operation, is like to keep that knife edge sharp. Our special forces are doing their job as best as they can and the ability that they can by like our government nature, but it's hard. It's a very hard balance, and now I'm on the outside within like normal society, the gen pop, and it's strange. I have a very like removed perspective of what a military does, and you can see that like we haven't funded our military up to NATO GDP contribution in over like 35 years. So it's not like a liberal thing or a conservative thing. It's like
it's just a general.
As a whole, we haven't really put this at the forefront And that's why you see like, we don't have the equipment, or people aren't getting paid well, and you hear just lots of complaining and murmuring. Well, it's kind of been doing that for a while. So people get angry at Trump and elbows up, but it's sad when he's the guy that has to force our government to fund our military correctly. You know what I mean? So, but we're proud. I'm very proud of my service. Like, you'll find a lot of veterans pretty upset. Maybe it's because I've done a lot of psychedelics and I've done a lot of healing. Generally a lot of veterans are pretty upset and just not kosher with the way our trajectory as a country militarily wise. And that's for me with my company all the way apparel. That is like I'm servicing my veteran community and still serving. But what's really important to me is that, hey, we have another generation that's coming up.
Right.
Like we're becoming old. We're not old men, but like, we're going to be aging out. And if something happens, these guys are up next. And so it's like, it's always this negative lens on the military, the Canadian military. Oh, it's not good enough, or this or that. And it's like, maybe we should be a little bit more positive about this and show like, hey, you can still achieve amazing things in the Canadian military and take it to the highest levels and do the same SEAL Team 6, Delta Force, SAS stuff all day. You'll get the opportunity.
And I mean, like, I'm trying to remember what the name of the movie is, but there's a movie that just recently came out that, I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's like pretty like gruesome, and it happens like
in a house. The Navy SEAL movie. Yeah, I saw that.
Like,
so which one?
I forget. I thought it was like that. Not that the Outpost is really good, but it's.
I think it maybe the name is War. Or something like that.
Something like that. Pictures that guys like glasses that are all covered in dust.
But that was honestly, I think I've obviously never been there, but I felt it was the most realistic portrayal of exactly what you were saying, where it's like, until you've actually like been in that scenario where something happens, you don't know how to react. And when you watch the movie, like, it's literally just one circumstance, but you're like, at the end of that, you're like, wow, that's heavy. Like, I don't know what to say, right?
That guy coming in and kicking the dude is like, it's okay. That's real life.
Well, right?
People get spun up and you'll just be like, why is this person acting like that?
Yeah.
You can imagine or tell yourself how you're going to react, or how you're like, oh, I know I'm going to do this. I train for it. I'm ready for it. Like, but until you're actually presented with the scenario or a scenario, or even come close to, you never know. You never know, and you could completely change from what you're, and then you have to deal with, especially if it doesn't go in the way that you imagined it. You have to deal with, the whole loss or grieving process of like, oh, if I didn't live up to, my expectation of what I thought was going to be real. Or if you do perform, then you have obviously, joy and pride and like, yeah, I did what I was supposed to do, right?
Yeah. It's like a check mark as a soldier to be like, okay, when the bullets start flying, like, am I gonna shoot back?
Yeah.
Am I gonna take the initiative, or is it flight or flight?
Right.
And it happens. Yeah. It happens. Full on soldiers like freeze up, all that stuff. So there's definitely a reality to it. And it's until I had a improvised explosive device blow up in my face. Okay. Yeah, I had plastic surgery over in Canada Airfield. I was off for a couple weeks before going back and joining my platoon. I had plastic surgery on this side. They pulled out a bunch of shrapnel from my face. And after that was like, whoa. At first I played a lot of contact sports. I'm like, it's probably going to feel like, because a lot of people were getting hurt. Like,
right.
2008, 2009, my deployment, 6-7 months, there was like 80 something casualties, like dead and wounded. That went home. Like a lot of injuries. So it's just on your mind the whole time, like, oh, well, probably going to get blown up or blown up. That's the main way that they were doing it.
Yeah.
And then when it happened, it was not what I thought it would be like. It was the only time I'm like, I'm good. I'm like, cool to go home. I was like, not okay. I was like strapped to a board, flying in a helicopter, looking down at Afghanistan, just being like, Yeah,
I'm done.
I probably could go home. Like, I'm cool. And that's that's the enemy gets a vote thing where you're like, whoa. And then people dying, going to the ramp ceremonies, like, it gets real heavy real quick. When you come back to Canada, like the training thing, it isn't training anymore because you can immediately go back there. Not in a post-traumatic stress way, but being like, I was in the military a year and a half when I was in Afghanistan. So I came back and I did 15 years. So like, okay, the last 13 years was how I trained, was like, okay, this guy tried to kill me.
Right.
This is like serious business. It's not a joke. This isn't like for fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting way to start a career.
What would you like, and maybe your answers are similar or maybe different on this, like within those really chaotic experiences or any experience at all, what would you say would be the biggest takeaway from all of it would be in your opinion?
It's a little question. Not sure. I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah.
So breathe.
Yeah.
Breathe. Just like stop. Just stop. Take a breath. Like do the scan. As heavy as an intense of a situation is, it's not gonna be good if you just like go into it and start working. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not talking a firefighter, like a medical intervention, a car crash, something like that. Like, maybe before committing, and it's very hard to learn how to like do that, especially when something's like happening. But if you get overwhelmed or you come upon a situation or in life, business like that, sometimes the best thing is to just get your hands off the keyboard, take your phone down, just like ask, is this like what is the most important thing right now? And then attack the problem.
There is an acronym, STOP.
Okay.
STOP.
Yeah.
So stop, think, observe, plan.
Okay.
Honest, like, it became more prominent for me when I went to, like, as a medic.
Yeah.
And after my deployment.
Yeah.
When I would do my training, obviously I was amongst a class of basically new recruits, but here I was changing careers. So I had already, 6 years of service with a deployment, a combat deployment on top of that, coming into a full new, essentially generation of what were now my equals, my peers, right?
Yeah.
But they were just starting their career. Anyways, I ended up gaining the nickname Iceman because
nice.
I was always just cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was, you'd get to a scenario, especially paramedic training, you get to the scenario, the first thing they tell you to do is observe the scene, right?
Right.
You check for obstacles or danger or whatever, whether it be fire, ice, power lines, whatever the scenario. And then, further scenarios on top, internally beyond that. But I just remember there was an acronym that I had picked up from the infantry, which slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I would come in and I would go slower than what they essentially wanted people to do.
Yeah. And
they would be like, dude, like, his situation changing. Like, what are you doing? Like, something's happening. And I'm like, okay, I need to finish this part. I have to pass on the information.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to come back and look or reassess or whatever. They're like, you're going so slow. And it's like, okay, well, how much time did I actually take? Like, actually, that's our record time.
Right.
I'm like, well, you're right.
Yeah.
Why? Because I followed what you told me to do. I followed the procedure, but I didn't rush one before the other. So, yeah, I would say that. Stop.
I was not Iceman.
Stop.
It took a long time for me to figure out, like, yo, dude. Even now, the transition to the civilian sector, that's been the biggest thing. Is like now I used to talk a lot. Same with like I had a specialty talking to aircraft and like telling them to drop bombs or do whatever. And like that's really intensive on radio communications, but it shouldn't be. There's actually like code words that you can use to send to the aircraft and they understand like a full sentence in one word.
Okay.
And the French guys would always like do so well because their English was so bad that they couldn't be like, hey, can you go north and then let me know when you're there and I need you to elevate like 2,000 feet. The French guy would be like, proceed Alpha 5, call established. And they're like good verbiage. So it's like the transition for me, I finally was like, okay, dude, stop talking,
Right.
It's time to start listening.
Right.
And no one has epaulet, no one has rank on here. You can't see, well, what that guy qualified, his beret he's wearing. Oh, that means he's special forces. Nothing like that is happening in the real world.
Right.
So it really made me be, and it benefited me huge to just be like, dude, stop talking. Just listen.
It's funny because like as you're both talking about that, like I draw similarities. Like I've worked a long time in the service industry, and I remember one guy that I worked with that was really good at the bar, and it's only at that point that I realized the same thing that you're saying about like slow is smooth, right? I would watch him. Like I remember like the first time I was like at the bar, and it's like you're just kind of running around with your chicken, like a chicken with his head cut off, and you're trying to do everything that you can and all that. And it's only a few years later when I encountered this person going smooth as hell, super slow, nonchalant, getting everything done. And it's at that point that you understand it's like it's more about like doing the things properly and efficiently than it is about doing many things at once.
Right.
And even though it's not in time as intense, I mean, a bar can be pretty chaotic sometimes.
It can, absolutely.
It's kind of cool in that respect. And I also agree with the part where the talking versus listening thing. It's like, you know, we're so amped up and geared to like want to help in a situation and we want to say things to really do it. But oftentimes like a lot of the good lessons or where we can really have an impact is when we just chill, right, breathe, talk, or listen first, and then if you can have some input, go ahead, right? So it's
one of it reminds me of another saying that we kind of learned through military training is that we have 2 ears and one mouth, and they should be used in equal proportion. So that was another one. I struggle myself. I'm a long-winded talker like Gordo as well. So sometimes
that's why our meetings, business meetings are like 2 hours long. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" I don't even know what we're talking about now. Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh trading card games.
Yeah.
So
I don't think a community. What we do now in life, if we were to go back like 10 years, both of us would just be like, no. Like, what do you mean? That's what you're doing now.
Right.
Here we are figuring out marketing schemes and stuff like that for hobby store trading card games.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Crazy, how life has a kind of... and it's funny because even, like, the story of how you two met is such a... the mundane coincidences of life, right? Where it's like... more random.
Yeah.
Like straight up Kijiji ad.
Yeah.
He needed a service. I happened to be in the moment, was exploring a different business, and I was offering that service. He was looking for obviously a discount because he wouldn't have been on Kijiji in the first place. Right?
Is this your best price?
Yeah, basically.
I didn't lowball him.
No, not at all. But so yeah, I showed up for a little bit of landscaping and just. I mean, I could instantly tell. I was like, "Oh, you're in the military." I was like, "I just got out myself." And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And then we hit it off because we just had a lot of similarities, so it was cool.
Yeah, there's not many veterans. There's not many people in the military, like in Canada. We have a pretty small force, and then the veteran community is like 470,000 people, which still is not that much. And our country's huge. Yeah, it's very small, and our forces are only like 70 grand. About 70,000 people, active duty. So there's not that many, and then not many in the same time that we both went. Both deployed to Afghanistan around similar time. So I think the universe was like putting us together at that time.
Sure.
But it started as a friendship, and then it grew, and then now it's a good friendship. Business too, but it's nice. It makes it easier to have veteran conversations, like even at the beginning, like to try to explain to someone what special forces is or like what the jobs I had in the military were.
There's a lot of perceptions, right?
Right.
You gotta try to manage, navigating, tapping into that perception and feeding a little bit of it, but then also kind of managing the expectation and redefining sometimes. Because some people have a whole different... Because some people's perception of, say, what the military or what special forces are, or even to my level, what a medic is, right? they've sometimes their only reference point is movies,
right,
or Hollywood,
100%,
or you know, a little bit of side stories. But what's the story you're going to hear? Are you, you know, a paramedic story? What's the story you're going to hear? The cardiac arrest, or are you going to hear the you know, older generation hospital transfer? Well, you're going to hear the one out of the, but in reality, it's a lot more transfers than it is cardiac arrest, right?
Okay.
So, yeah, it's managing and going with those, you know, perceptions and stuff too. So.
What do you think are the biggest kind of misconceptions that people have about it? Like
about the military?
Yeah, to me, like if I'm looking at it from the perspective of, like, my dad was in the Air Force. I think from the conversations that we've had, have maybe a more realistic understanding that there's a lot of things that can happen that just are really just not even related to war. It's just like upkeep and, you know, being in a base in a foreign country and doing operations there that are more about more not passive things, but they're just like, they're not like,
like
we're
non-combat
trying to
role
like
stuff.
kill people, right? And so that's where I think I have more of a realistic, like I see it from maybe a broader scale. But to your point, I think we're very, and with a lot of things, like I see it as similar as, like, the way that we portray war is like the same way that we portray like these romantic comedies where it's like, you know, the love story and then the breakup and then he does this romantic gesture. I'm like, that's not how love works in real life. And similarly, in respect to war, it's like, war doesn't happen with like these guys with friggin' Iron Maiden blasting, going on a helicopter, dropping down and, you know, saving the day, and then everybody's happy at the end and they get the girl, right?
I think
Small
some
percentage,
do.
but
I think some do.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
we have to recognize them in the moment that they're there. I think oftentimes those pictures that do happen, a lot of people don't recognize that they're happening in the moment that they are.
It's probably like 95% of war, even Afghanistan, like full-on conflict, was like not war, not combat. High percentage. So, probably even my deployment, like 85% of it was nothing happening. Like, still just hard soldiering. Go, do the thing, watch the town, report back, live out of a bag for 4 days and make sure you don't get caught by the Taliban. No contact, no one shooting at you, no bombs. The fear's still there, obviously, or like the knowing that, hey, this could happen. And that's super normal for our military. You'll talk to tons of guys who've done deployments to Afghanistan and nothing happened. So, I think misconception, I don't know if it's I think the public's view of the military is misconstrued. I don't think we've done a good job as a country to show our civilian population what the military is. And then you can see that, one, we didn't make our need to GDP to contribution, and two, we have a recruiting issue, right? We have a giant recruiting issue because no one knows what we do.
It's less appealing if, you know, you don't know what it is, or it's not living up to what you are expecting it to be either. But I do want to add the point that I think it's important that there's a lot of people that miss out on recognizing what they've done. A lot of people join the forces and they do these courses, or they prepare, or they train. Sometimes maybe they don't get to a point where they've deployed, but in their entire career they wanted to deploy, for example, right? It's like a training to be a doctor but never saving a life. Right. Like you go through 11 years of school to then, I don't know, turn around and go carpenter, right? Like or turn around and just do a whole other trade altogether and not achieving the thing you had trained for, if you will, right? But I want to acknowledge for sure that even just training and being prepared, or being on a road to preparing to me is an accomplishment. Like, I think there definitely 100% needs to be an acknowledgement of those who have gone up, have volunteered, who join, do their service, however long that is, even if it's I mean, to the extreme of only doing basic training, for example.
Yeah.
They still have gone and done something. If
Right,
something
right.
would have happened,
Yeah. They were ready.
And luckily, you know, we're in a beautiful country that we are not in that position, and hopefully never will be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all thanks to our predecessors before us.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, they were ready to do it.
Right.
And that's an accomplishment. I think a lot of people skip on that. A lot of people don't realize, like, yes, you know, even if you didn't deploy, you, by definition, can still qualify as, say, a veteran or
There's a big issue in the veteran community that people that didn't deploy don't feel like veterans. It's really bad. It's really bad. It's sad because mental health is a huge issue, right?
Yeah.
And to have people that serve, even if they did 3 years, some people do a ton of years, and because they didn't deploy, they're like, oh, I don't really feel like a veteran. And it's just like, it's not good. It's a very unhealthy view of like your service, but that's is a reflection of society, right? Like kind of leaving. And when I left, and 15 years later, I punch out to Moncton, and it's like a softcore Rambo. It felt like because no one knows what I did, or where I was, or anything. Yeah, and it messed me up for a little bit. Because I was just like, where is my place? And I've got a good grip on it now, but it's frustrating. I've learned to let it go, so I'm not frustrated anymore because of that, where it's like, when people ask what I did in the military, I just tell them, like, did you see that Navy SEAL movie? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I did that. For me to like go into it, then I can just see like the glazed look on their face, and it's just like, okay, it's not worth it. It's almost like me protecting what I did to not even bother telling these people, because either they don't care, or it's just like gonna go over their head that it's like not worth it to even explain what I did, because it's almost, I feel like, disrespectful to like the people that are doing the job, because they actually are like very, very proud of it. And man, it's our military is a very professional military, and the levels you can go is super high. And when you come out and no one knows what you did or where you went, and just the general feeling was strange. I won't slag on anything too crazy, but I asked a school employee when I was at NBCC if they wanted me to speak to the class. And it was near Remembrance Day. It was my first year being out. And I was like, hey, man, like 60% of the class is from international locations. Do you want me to, should I talk to the class on Remembrance Day to let them know, like, hey, this is why we have a free country, and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's literally why, from World War II and all the other giant conflicts. And it was met with that they would have to find out if they could get permission from the school administration. So I'm not trying to throw mud, obviously, but like for me, I didn't even know like what the conversation I was having, what was happening at that point. I was so confused. And the school's littered with support Ukraine, bringing first aid kits for Ukraine, bringing all these things for Ukraine. So it's like, okay, so we're going to support a giant proxy war, right? Which is terrible. But then we're not going to talk about the Canadian military to the people who probably are coming here for the values that our forefathers, for people created, right? Of like free.
And realistically, like often these presentations or these you know, volunteering to share a story is usually just to talk about those who've passed before us, to honor those who, you know, made the ultimate sacrifice or whatnot. So it's not like it's these huge propaganda campaigns to be like, hey, here's XYZ. Literally just to be like, hey, this is, you know, Victoria Cross winner, or here's an unsung hero, or here's actually a local from Moncton that, you know.
Drew Doran. Do you know Drew Doran? He went to Matthew Martin. Sergeant Drew Doran. How old are you? Sorry.
I'm same age as Selves.
Okay, you guys a couple years. Yeah, would be 39, 40. But yeah, he's from here, and he was a special forces guy, and he got killed in Iraq in 2015.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just like, that's the stuff. We had 159 people die in Afghanistan conflict. The training thing that Serge was talking about before, people die all the time in the military from training accidents.
From training, yeah.
Oh yeah, they just renamed a base in Labia for a guy that he died during a parachute incident in training over there. So it's like people are still sacrificing all the time, and it's like the injuries from the military. People think, oh, that's all from war, when it's actually like 90% of all injuries happen in training.
Yeah.
So,
but you like, you know, as I kind of feel almost it was like insensitive at the first to saying playing make believe, but it's like you have to make it as realistic as possible in order to, like you were saying, it's like until you're in that actual moment, you don't really know, but we need to simulate it as much as we can so that it's like, hey, when that switch turns on, when this is no longer fake, at least you had something that triggered it before that was actually impactful enough to make you maybe do something that wasn't conflicted by that fight or flight response where maybe you'll freeze, right?
Yeah, you'll always revert to your training.
Right.
You will always, no matter what, even your guy's job, the video, like all of a sudden you're stressed out, and it's going to be like whatever training you had on figuring out
what do I remember
camera.
last?
Yeah.
I'm going to go to that last setting.
Yeah.
Right?
It's going to be automatic. They say they have a saying in Special Forces that normally you do things till you get it right, and in the Special Forces you do it till you can't do it right, until you do it until you can't get it wrong.
Right. Yeah.
And that's like should be everyone's training, and that's a huge advantage I think both of us have taken into the civilian sector, where it's like, oh, I can once we got our legs under us, we can start like influencing and see how you can like stretch your legs down and do some real work.
Yeah.
It's invaluable for us, the skill set we got before, when people think just, oh, you're just a soldier. No. It goes way deeper than that.
Yeah. So do you, like, you know, kind of fast forward into this transition here, was it, how would you characterize the choice that you made to get into entrepreneurship? Was it more like a, hey, I kind of want to try these things, or is it more like, hey, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur and never work for anyone, or is it something else? Because I hear like all different types, and me myself am like always said I just would never want to be that person that wears the entrepreneurship hat, because I just know my lane and I know what I'm good at, and that's the only things I want to do, and I don't want to be the person that's in charge of everything. So I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah, I think I say for me that I've always had a bug for business.
Okay.
Right? For many years, for the past 15 years, like while I was in the military, I was always taking workshops here and there, courses or something, or something would come up. It was like, oh, Ottawa, there's a little full day workshop. If anybody wants to go, you know, Prince Trust Entrepreneurs, or now it's King's Trust. But, anyways, I would sign up for those. I said, you know what, those interest me. I just want to learn, you know, nothing crazy. I don't know what business I want to do, but I kind of know I want to do one. And I think the core of that, or the root of that, was actually, you know, inspiration from my father. My father was just like, you know what? He would always say, I would love to find work where I can wear a suit and tie all day. And I was like, that's really cool. Nothing as simple as that. And I was like, yeah, that'd be cool too. And obviously business is an easy, you know, tie into that. So, but yeah, so that, you know, those are just ideas, seeds of ideas that grow as a child, right? And then they develop. And I know that, you know, through my time in the military, my exposure, you know, what I was blessed with as a medic is, like I was talking about earlier, everybody is on board for a medic to be around.
Right.
So I had an opportunity to always sit in on operation groups or briefings or debriefs, right, from all levels, right, from mid-level to low level to high level. I was kind of always just peeking my head in a door and be like, hey, what's going on over here, right? And you're like, oh, not too much. We're just having a operations group. Right. Can I sit down? Sure. I would sit down and watch these. They were like completely unrelated to my, you know, to my job. Like I shouldn't have been in these rooms, right? But I was always very observant, right? And I would pay attention, and what I'd learn from, you know, what logistics does, what supply does, what, you know, a different version of marketing does, what planning does, right? And so especially as a medic, I just absorbed all of it.
Yeah.
So when I switched over to transitioning out of the military and then getting into business, I find those are all those experiences that I'm drawing on.
Yeah,
They're just, I'm doing it for real. But I had already kind of been exposed or been pre-trained, right? And when we're in, we sometimes think like, oh, this is so frustrating. Why does someone think of this? Why do we do that? Or why, but realistically, I would advocate for our forces. And there are some silly stuff, absolutely. But world leading, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. There are some good men and women in the forces that we should absolutely be proud of. And I think in Canada we just don't highlight it enough, sadly. But
well, and I feel you've both spoke on it, on like the stuff that you get from that experience, from the training, just that whole experience there, like it builds a lot more than people think that they take away, that it's just like going to war, saving the day, and coming back. It's like there's some experiences in there that like you're not gonna, like you're maybe gonna speed road through 10 years worth of somebody's experience. You're gonna do it in a year because you're exposed to so much of that repetition and discipline and work ethic, and that's I feel probably the only area, like, or if you would call it an industry or whatnot, that would expose you to that much in so short of a time, because they want you to be, like you say, like you do it so many times that you just can't mess it up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, just real quick, to compound as well, is, like Gordo touched about it before, there's underfunding, there's understaffing, stuff like that, which means that like in Canada we have a lot of members that are doing multiple jobs. Like we don't have the same setup as other forces where your only job is to change a tire.
Right.
Like if you're a mechanic,
it's insane.
If you're a mechanic, like you are a mechanic, you're also and not to take away from any other jobs, but you're also the radio guy.
Yeah.
You're also the supply guy. You're also like, I remember like in Afghanistan, I was a military police C6 gunner on the turret up top, C9 gunner as well, and radio guy, because I was just kind of naturally good with radios, and I was the guy doing the radios.
Yeah.
But I was also a C9 gunner. I was a machine gunner as a military police reservist. It
doesn't make any sense.
That's traditionally an infantry job.
Right.
But
soldier first.
Correct. Yeah.
All that stuff emboldens you. It should. Yeah. It can either do one of two things. I find like it either emboldens the person and says, hey, I can do this, and then they're able to make a successful transition because they say, hey, I was able to do that, and that, and I know I can do this no matter how scary it is. Jumping out of a plane at nighttime when the light goes green, you're jumping, right? You have a bunch of guys behind you. So when that thing goes green,
you're jumping.
You better jump.
Yeah.
Same thing in the civilian world where it's like, okay, hey man, are you going to commit? And it's like you have to have that intestinal fortitude, confidence to say like, yeah, I'm going to do it no matter what. Like it's black, right? I don't know what the other side's going to be, but I'm going to go. So I found the transition, that was everything I did. What he was talking about, people triple hatting, it's like insane. My job, I had a specific subspecialty in special forces, and like when I deployed overseas, my American counterpart was a senior major. I was a corporal. So this guy's like 15 ranks above.
Just to explain, so there's a full 35-year career in ranks for non-officers. Okay, there's a full 35 years plus career ranks in officers.
Okay.
So you have
mine was
15, 20-year version of officers, and then you have Gordo here just rocking it.
But I wasn't like an officer, right? And that's the thing is we didn't have, after Afghanistan, there was a big brain drain of capabilities because we weren't at war anymore. So what do we need these things for? And then all of a sudden a conflict starts or popped off with ISIS in Iraq, and then next thing you know, who has this capability? Well, the only people that had maintained this capability were the special forces. So the regular military doesn't even have the corporate knowledge to understand like what's happening in this thing.
Right.
That modern warfare, America and all the other Five Eyes nations are like, this is normal for them. We just put that to the side. So all of a sudden you have our special forces guys who are the ones actually marrying with the American guys. So my special forces counterparts, right?
Okay.
Like regular Navy SEAL, a regular Green Beret, and MARSOC guy, Marine Special Operations Command. There was like 40 of them underneath these two guys. These two guys would then give it to their bosses, who'd give it to their bosses, who'd give it to their bosses, who would then explain to these guys. I was probably, if I was in the American military, I'd be like one of the bottom guys just by rank. And instead, I'm the Canadian counterpart for the two guys that are leading this. I didn't wear a uniform. If I wore a uniform, I don't know if I want to say stuff, but I didn't wear a rank. I said Gordo. I never told people what my rank was. I would just be like, "What's up? I'm Gordo," and then they would be like, well, I'm Steve. Like I'm Major blah blah blah. Like cool, and they just wave it off. That is all. Everything's fine because it's not. It doesn't work in the military. For a major to talk to a corporal is not like something that's normal.
Right.
So
well, unless it's formal. Like,
right.
It's a lot more formal.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. This was like more the gray zone of it.
Imagine corporate talking to
a floor guy.
Floor.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Like, yeah.
But he's the expert on barbecues. He is the guy.
Yeah.
He's like, no one makes a decision about barbecues without talking to Barbecue Johnny, right?
Yeah.
But Barbecue Johnny works Thursdays and Saturdays only in the summertime at Home Hardware. But like office, it only will talk to him.
Right.
Kind of like same kind of thing. And that really emboldened me in the civilian sector, where I was just like, all of those experiences where I was so scared.
Yeah.
I wasn't like cool doing it.
Yeah.
I tried to be cool.
Yeah.
But like on the inside, I'm like,
holy shit.
If anything, I had caused some like stress injuries because of like, it's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
That like you're the guy for Canada, right? Like the rank structure for me to talk to like the guys in charge of the military isn't like very far. And it's like, that's not a normal position that someone of my rank should be in. So pretty stressful, but when I got into the civilian sector, it was super, and like, I was ready to go. I'm so confident in my abilities.
Right.
I'm so confident I can achieve like whatever I put my mind to. If I want to go make $5 million, I'll do it. If I want to go become a doctor, I'll do it. If I want to do this, and it sounds bad, but like everyone should feel that way first of all.
Yeah.
And I've just experienced it where I've done things that has given me this much belief in myself that I'm like, no, you can do it.
And they say like, you know, the two things on that. Like one thing is the 5-second rule, where it's like when something that feels uncomfortable needs to be done, you can't take more than 5 seconds to do it, or you're never going to do it. And you need to learn to be like, hey, in that 5 seconds, if I can start, just I'm going to do it. Like, let's say it's talk to a person you never talked to, or it's you know, like in a meeting when someone says something and you're like, oh, like, should I say something? In that little 5 seconds, if you don't say it, you're reinforcing that behavior that I can't do it. And I think that's a really important thing there, that I see kind of from there. The other thing too is that I think that what emboldens you as well is that you've experienced like your most difficult thing. I've never done something similar, but your very difficult things have created that emboldenment where now probably everything that you see feels so much easier too, right? Even the stuff that is unknown is like, it just, you've gone through hard stuff. So the harder thing that's gonna, or the next hard things that's gonna show up, you're like, man, I've done hard shit. I feel comfortable with trying on another hard thing. What's the worst that's going to happen?
I will always be able to default remember the time where I was defining an objective with Reki.
Yeah.
And we were just observing, and we were in a poncho full of ice covered, waiting for the follow-on force to come on.
Yeah.
And just absolutely freezing.
Yeah,
but still having to, like, it'll never get colder than that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so, just like every year I do the polar bear dip in the Atlantic Ocean. just to remind myself that it's a new year.
Yeah.
And nothing's colder than that. You know, at that point. So.
Yeah, if you asked my wife that same question, she would say that like when stuff for a normal person gets like start being like, well, it's a stressful situation, is when I'm like normal.
Right.
It's like normal life is hard for me to deal with.
Okay.
Which is like slowing down.
Role reversal.
Yeah, slowing down, like normal stuff.
I'm the
traffic
calmest
or
in the middle of Costco on a Saturday.
On
a long weekend.
Yeah.
When everybody's freaking out, that's where I'm like, yes.
Nice.
Costco still gets me going. Don't get me wrong.
Chaos.
That's not PTSD either. That's just Costco. Damn.
Costco on a Saturday is like psychotic behavior. But
yeah.
So like, you know, this is a lot of what we said. I think there's so many takeaways from this, but really kind of something we haven't even touched upon is you know, the opportunity that is arise from the trials and tribulations of trying some stuff out with the entrepreneurship and all that, but you found kind of this little gap in something that what I really took away from what you sent me before we even got into the conversation is like the amount of people that do these things, but you didn't know until you actually like opened your doors and you started seeing people that you're like, oh, that's crazy that a lot of people are like into this, and just that has a snowball effect in not only on your personal behavior, but also in just the creating that space where other people are going in. Like my dad's been doing some kind of getting back into it, which is really cool. But tell me about this whole like the whole experience so far with the hobby store.
Yeah, so it's pretty. I'll start off. I have a 95-year-old customer.
Okay.
Who does scale models.
Okay.
Right. And you think like, okay, he's probably done it for his own. He only started. He wanted to get into it.
Yeah.
He only started at 94. So when
Insane.
I say like, there's a full spectrum of people who do hobbies.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not kidding. Like, all walks of life, everybody. Right. What I've noticed though is a lot of people. Either sometimes lack confidence, or they just find themselves in their own little world, and they hobby alone.
Right.
That's a big thing. But what I really enjoy is, since we opened our hobby store, like I get to see all those people. Like I'm the hub, right?
Yeah.
Like there's the hub of like people need supplies, right?
Yeah.
So they come to the store, and it's nice to see all the different walks of life. And what I'm trying to do is to try to like link and connect them together, right? Yeah. When we first started, we had like D&D was a big like okay, it's a nerdy world and it's hidden and whatever. But I mean, I don't know how many times we did the old Spider-Man scene where someone would come in and be like, oh, do you have, you know, this product or a D&D mini, and then someone was just in the corner listening is, oh, D&D, like, oh, what edition? And then someone else was like, oh, D&D, and we're all just like, oh, Spider-Man, like, and so I think that's always fun. It's always cool, especially when you start linking people together. And
I will just say that I absolutely hate the whole thing that we have around like that these things are nerdy, and you have like this like picture in your mind of like the kids in high school that were sitting like in a corner wearing different clothes and things like that. Like I grew up as an only child with a lot of time alone and stuff like that, and one thing that I would do a lot is like daydream and observe people and all of that, but it like I will always look objectively at these things being like, what do they love about this? What's like, you know, what's bringing their sense of community? Like trying not to, you know, like anybody else, like I've had these, you know, moments in life where, you know, I've been in the crowd that's made fun of people and stuff like that. But I've like, you know, as I grew older and the more that I recognize these things, that's one thing that I've found, like, first of all, D&D is pretty fucking cool to like, if once you understand, like if someone tells you like, okay, let me explain to you how you play this game, and they start talking about it, you're like, this is actually pretty fun. And I wish more people would just see it that way.
Right.
Because it does what you're saying. It's like, it's that like being afraid that people are going to find out you're doing that. I'm like, dude, like do whatever you want to do.
Right?
And you shouldn't. Like
absolutely not. No.
If anything, judge them positively that they're doing something with other people that enjoy doing the same things, and that's what you should judge them for, right?
Yeah, I think it's changing.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
The kids these days are way more nice. Our generation was like pretty brutal towards each other. But no, it's even for me, like secondary, not only like Serge was like, I'm going to start a hobby business. So he had some sort of inkling of like what this is going to entail. Yeah. When I go help him with social media, I'm just like, show up. And like you said, the D&D game's happening. The Dungeon Master, the Dungeon Master is like running it. Yeah. And I'm like, what is happening? And then they tell me, and it's quite interesting. It's one of the best things about Board Miniature Hobby Store. It's like his slogan. It's more than a hobby, it's a community. And it's more than a store, it's a community. And that's what he's really, really trying to get across to people is like, we're in the age of digital, kids are on their phone. We say kids, but like people are on their phone. And I think if anybody, I think a lot of people want the person in their family or their kids or whoever to get off their screen, start interacting again like a human being. And that's where Board Miniatures comes in, is that like, it's a community gaming space. Yeah. So hey, bring people here, go here, check it out. It is a community. He has games, different events every single night. He gets all the like insider hookups for the big events and prizing. It's pretty cool. It's made me be like, not even a closet hobbyist, but I'm just like, whoa, there's a lot of cool stuff going on.
And as you discover more, you're like, oh, I really want to dip into that. Like, oh, I'm at least curious about it. I'd like to learn about it. And a lot of times you just don't have enough time for everything.
For sure.
But yeah, it's been fun. It's a wonderful journey for sure.
So what would you say, like, so for, let's say somebody is passing by Costco, sees the hobby store, goes on Facebook, sees Gordo's posts, and honestly, like, I will say, like, the thing that I personally, like, board games I've played, Catan. Like, Catan's been one that's like outside of maybe Risk and like fucking Monopoly. Like, Catan would be my only exposure to like something that has a little bit more depth to it. But like, I would feel so intimidated going to that because I'd be like, I'm an imposter. I don't know how to do this. They're probably judging me because they're like, man, who is this guy that's
Who's
probably
the nerd
exactly, right? And I'll take it. But what I'm trying to say with that is like, what's a piece of advice that you would give, or like what's the starting point in like getting into doing that? Because like I said, I think there's like, if you sit there and you listen to someone talk about the game that they're playing, it has so many layers. It's so more complex than you think. And you'll leave 5 hours later being like, how did 5 hours just pass? Right?
I would say there's a couple things. One is like, get involved.
Yeah.
Like, show up. Come to like we have paint and play.
Okay.
Just like an event on every second Sunday. People come. Yeah. Some people play. Yeah. Some people assemble models and paint.
Okay.
Like, it's just, it's a place to hang out and get together.
Yeah.
The second I would say is like, don't overthink it, right? And if you try to dip into something that you are initially interested in, and as you go into it, it starts getting overwhelming, or it's a little bit more like, maybe there's other ways to enjoy it, right? So like for me, kind of just before I started the store, I was reading Warhammer.
Okay,
novels, right? That's kind of how I got into it. I was literally a few years ago sitting in a medical tent waiting, right? Just, we were on a break from training, didn't have much to do. We were waiting, and it was in Alberta. And I just looked around. I was like, hey, I need to read something. Does somebody have a book? Yeah. And my coworker was like, I have Warhammer. And like, that's how anybody can be a hobbyist, but nobody knows. Right. Anyways, picked up a book, never put it down, read the whole thing, kept reading. At some point I realized that like Warhammer had miniatures. right?
Right.
And they had an
True,
actual
true,
game.
true. Yeah.
At that point, I was getting into board games. You know, my wife and I was diving into the rabbit hole a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, I mean, if they got miniatures, let's go try it out. Like,
Yeah.
it's for me. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, I just kind of got involved. I found a group locally. It turns out they were a competition group, and these games were 5 hours.
Okay.
You know, fresh new kid. There was no way I could dedicate 5 hours once a week.
True.
Right. Anyways, but it was overstimulating for me. There was too much information. I couldn't handle these large games, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized, okay, well, maybe I'll put this on pause.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean that I can't get into the painting world.
Okay.
Or the assembling world of the
now you can start and stop.
So I went into that, and then ultimately that flourished into the store. And now we've been open for a year and a half, and we just relocated beside Costco.
Yeah.
We're trying to get it going, and hopefully we can, establish ourselves and become that community space that we're, trying to create.
Is that kind of like the, I guess the messaging behind what you're trying to do, like on social media or anything, is like that it isn't as scary as I make it out to be in my own mind of like showing up, and obviously it's always going to be uncomfortable when you're trying something new. That's normal. But is that kind of the approach?
I felt the same. Well, for one, it's 2025, so like everyone should be like super comfortable with enjoying whatever they want to enjoy. You know what I mean? Where it's true. Yeah. But I found being the guy with sticking a camera in people's faces was like strange for me to be. Am I going to be welcomed by these people? Mm-hmm. What's the vibe here? And I think they were probably more freaked out by me at the beginning, but then once I was like asked that first question, it was just like they were almost like waiting to tell me, you know what I mean? But they weren't going to tell me. I felt intimidated, like, oh my God, these people probably like hate me and stuff. But then you ask one question, and it's a really nice community. It's something that's surprised me a lot, where it's like, sure, there's a lot of quiet people, but like the moment you ask them a question, you'll see that it's a very, very, very welcoming environment, and they want more people to come play. They want more. Yeah. It's literally like a league.
I would just say communities.
Yeah.
Right?
Because there's
every night has a different.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, and I think like it's like a lot of things in life. Like we project onto other people a lot of the things that we think inside of our mind about. Maybe it's just about ourselves, or it could be like we think that of people, or we think the worst. That people are thinking the worst about us, and that in turn pushes us to not get those experiences. But in 99% of the time, and to your point on that, is like anybody that's doing something that they're interested in, and you ask them a question about it, they're so pumped that you're interested in what they're like. If you have genuine curiosity towards someone's interest, they're gonna sit there for a couple hours wanting to explain how really awesome 100%. That is, right?
100%. I would say our communities, even to the next level, sometimes you barely even have to ask the question. A lot of people, unfortunately, don't have a place to share their passion. So when they show up, they are ready to share, and I think that's what's awesome. Yeah, it's fun. I don't know how many times someone's like, "Oh, I'm looking for this paint," and within 2 seconds, their phone's out and they have to show me their project and whatnot. It's really cool. You get to see everybody's project, right? Like everybody's hobbying on their own at home. Yeah. Right. And we're trying to bring it, obviously not always, but every once in a while, bring it to the hub and get people to do it together and have these activities of like the modeling clubs and stuff like that.
Yeah. And obviously ever since COVID, I think we've kind of lost that need to go into that third space. Like a lot of times, like I think we all had that. Maybe it was the local bar. It was like, every Thursday I go play badminton with my buddies or things like that. There was always that little thing that you had there, and then COVID kind of kiboshed that for a little bit. And then coming back to it, I think a lot of people whether they wanted to kind of step away from it or not, they kind of got forced into it, but then they got comfortable with being like, oh, it's a lot of effort to get out and do that. But there's a slow like negative impact to that where it requires, I think, what you're creating to re-spark that motivation to go out, and then what you're doing with communicating that out to the world, where it's like people like to navigate towards something where there's something going on, right? So if you're doing a really great job at doing that, it's like it's some of those flames are reigniting the people that maybe were hobbying and then don't hobby anymore, or maybe they're hobbying and they're those closet hobbyers and they're like, oh, everybody is gonna think I'm freaking nerdy about this, and then they see that post and they're like, whoa, there's other people like me.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And they meet on Thursday. Like, this is so awesome.
Yeah.
Every time I go to the store, I leave being like, telling myself, don't buy anything, don't buy. Because I'm just like, I think it's like a secret community. Like, I think his business positioned like extremely well for this, because it is what people are looking for. They just don't know it, right? The COVID really messed stuff up, and it's a safe community where it's like fun, good interaction. You don't have to drink, you don't have to do like anything. You just play a normal game.
Yeah.
No phone, there's no electronics. Like, you just do everything old school. And I think there's gonna be a really big, if not already a big push for that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we're there for it.
Yeah. Well, it's good.
I think so.
It's good that you've took an initiative to do that, because, like I said, like those third spaces there have had a temporary disappearance, and to reappear, it's like, I think the first thing that kind of popped up, it was already kind of there, it was like craft breweries. And it's kind of like going to the club, but now it's a different club, and then you can bring your kids, and so a lot of the time it's like around those things, but there's always something kind of missing to those experiences, versus, I think, and I haven't experienced yet one of your nights or anything like that. There's some similarities between the going out to a craft brewery and maybe trying some beer, but I think there's more to what you're doing in terms of the impact and the long-term impact that someone could have in being a part of that community, and building confidence around being like, I'm a part of something. Right?
I would venture to say that maybe the intention or the vision is to create long-term relationships.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's lasting.
Yeah.
Right? Getting together, meeting friends, meeting new people, and then even if it's just once a week, that becomes, next thing you know, it's 3 years later, and you've known this person for 3 years, and you've met every single Wednesday playing Pokemon. Yeah. Right? And you establish these really great friendships that last a lifetime, right? Yeah. And maybe through all the hard work, at some point you get to a point where, like, you know what, our game is pretty competitive. Let's get together a little bit more. Let's start competing a little bit more. Yeah. Let's start, traveling locally to other locations to see, like, get to these other championships. And then all of a sudden, it's a few years later, and you've made it to the World Champions together.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but that all started through your local club.
Just showing up, right?
There's depth to all the games. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. Where you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
These people it's fun, but it's like a serious like sport in itself.
So far you can take it, right? Or you
yeah.
can keep it very simple. I love to imagine ourselves right now as there's always there's the entry gap, and then there's kind of like the competitive level, or like the next gap.
Yeah.
But there's like the in between, like that actual gap that I find is often just kind of skipped or jumped, like the middle ground or the beginning ground. I would say that I like to position myself at the beginning and middle ground to help people either go to the next level or just simply like enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
Being there and like, you know what? It's okay if I don't go to the next level.
Yeah.
that's cool too.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's, that's what I'm trying to do. And I think it's working so far, but
it's funny because the last guest that we had that we haven't aired yet, I hear a lot in what you're saying in terms of the approach to business, which I really like, which is like, it's not like you're not doing it self-serving. There's a greater purpose to like, I want to help people, but I want the world to benefit from something to me that it's, I'm putting my blood, sweat, and tears into it, but it's not just so I get a paycheck and just so I can go home and go into my pool that I bought with the money that people put into the store. It's like, it's more about making sure that like humanity, whether it's, even if we're just talking about little Moncton, New Brunswick, I always say little, but it's starting to become way bigger than it is. But it's like, it's about impacting that positively and making that the purpose of it all, where like, even if it's just someone that's going to come in and do it in the very passive enjoying stage and will show up every week and will never do the competition, he's now part of a community, and the confidence that breeds from it, the that rush of dopamine that stays there weeks after weeks because he knows that next week he could go back and see his friends and stuff like that. Like, that's because of that, right?
It's super authentic.
Yeah.
I think people can see that with businesses nowadays, and that's what they crave. Yeah. Like, I think we're over the social media, like super flashy James Bay kind of like feature of a business. I think people can really tell what the person's about when they speak to them, and I think that's what you get across when he puts the community first. Like, sure, he wants to make some Skrilla, but like, can he do it in a way that feels good?
Yeah,
I have to build the foundation first.
Yeah,
right. Let's be real. I haven't paid myself yet. We're still establishing.
Yeah,
but it's continue. Well, to me, it's continuing to serve after service.
Yeah,
right. I'm still just trying to earn the freedom that was provided to me from those before me, right? So
crazy that like the guy who served, went to Afghanistan, did all this stuff, you know what I mean, is still trying to like feeling that he has to earn your place like in society. It's a good man. That's I think he's done enough, but it's good. That is the proper outlook, right?
It is.
More. I hope more people listen to that bite right there, where it's like, wow,
I know
this dude still wants to like help.
It's you don't find a lot of people like that, which is
I'm kind of like, I do it in my own way. I do it my own way. I do it my own way, but I don't like servant leader. I don't like the I don't know. I've had too many bad leaders. That's why I did entrepreneurship. Was like, I'm like,
you don't want.
I'm good, man. I'm gonna try this like on my own. Like I really like collaborating with people and working with people. I think I've had a lot of. I'll still work for someone, but like I've had a lot of direction that is like forced upon you because you are a lower rank just because of a position.
Yeah.
So it freaks me out, but no, I still find myself. I volunteered for like a year and a half at Youth Quest.
Yeah.
The at-risk youth. Cool. I've done so much better in advocacy, and it's I don't know. I think maybe it's more like trying to put good out. I quite haven't put my finger on it for myself, like why I'm still doing stuff. Like I could just be focusing on my business and making money, but I spend a lot of time doing volunteer stuff, and I don't know. I think I don't know if it's I'm trying to earn my spot in society, or maybe like way down below. It's like maybe it's like some sort of weird redemption.
Just humbly trying to say that he's not trying; he's actually doing it.
Yeah.
No.
I think he just doesn't realize he's doing it.
Well, I don't know, because I think way down below is this like a couple things. One is this like because I feel bad about what I did in war. You know what I mean? And that this is like I need to like make it up to society. Like that I'm like, I destroyed like lives and stuff. Like that's not good. But no, I think it's just I want to do good. I want to like. I think it sucks to see people struggle. It hurts a lot to see people struggle.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time it's their perspective on life is not. It's not mindset shift where it's just like, maybe you need the lens cleared to your glasses that you have on, right?
Right.
They're a little bit dirty and you just need to get the cleaning towel out for it. So
I usually finish the podcast with one final question that I think is really fitting for this one here, and it's quite simple. Sometimes it draws a little bit of like, oh shit, I have to think about that, and I get all sorts of answers, which is really awesome because believe it or not, it's a lot of the times it has more impact on when I go home and I'm like, man, that guy said that one thing and that's gonna stick with me forever. But all what I'm trying to say is, the question that I ask is, if you were to go back to a specific point, it could be 10 years ago, it could be when you first jumped into the military, it could be when you two met, hey, whatever moment. If there's one that sticks out, if you could go back and start from that point on with what you know now, what would you do differently?
I'll start with a disclaimer of saying like I wouldn't change anything.
Good. Okay.
Like I've lived like I've lived so far, and I'm proud of everything so far. I do have like a moment or a element where I'll always say like, oh, if I could change something, or like if I could go back, would just be the moment of like when I, through my service, was at a point where I was applying for special forces, trying to go to those tiered levels. I kept getting, I wasn't offered the opportunity for various reasons, whether career advancements or deployments and stuff like that. And it would always come up with like, okay, well, either I continue the paperwork and go through my application, or I go on a deployment. And that's the crosswords where I would say, and the message really is just that if you have something that you truly believe that you would love to do, go and explore it.
Yeah.
Don't turn it off or put it away because you think that, because for me, I said, okay, well, I'll go on deployment. It's going to give me more experience. And then I'll think I'm more ready for, when I am ready to apply. Delaying the inevitable, just you never know what can happen later. And then, that would be the only thing that I would say.
It's funny because
if you want something, look at it, believe in it, and go for it.
Yeah, I just talked to someone over the weekend that said like he the guy that he was talking about had, when he was in his 20s, a coworker. They just kind of started at the same time, and the coworker at one point was like, hey, I think I'm gonna just quit the job, pack up everything, I'm gonna go to like travel the world for like a year and come back. And he thought in his head, he was like, man, I can't do that, career advancements, bonus, stuff like that, doesn't do it. 10 years fast forwards, and the guy at that point gets divorced, and maybe screwing up the part about the divorce or whatever, but anyways, he does that experience that he missed out when he was in his 20s, he does in his 30s, but he tries to do it like as if he was in his 20s, and he just couldn't replicate it.
Right.
And the takeaway from that was like, the season that you're in, the moment that you're living, if that's really what you want to do, explore it. Like sometimes it's that intuitive feeling of like, you know what, like I really feel that this is what I should do it. Because like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, even 6 months from now, you might just have a whole different perspective.
Right.
And you're going to miss on that experience of life that, regardless, most experiences in life, whether people want to measure them as in success or failure, there's always a lesson from it. And I think if you don't pursue it, you're always going to wonder if you ever got that lesson, right?
Big time.
Yeah.
People wait their whole lives to retire, and then all of a sudden
it's like
7 years old, and retirement doesn't sound the same as traveling Europe mid-30s, like,
right?
And it isn't.
Yeah.
And it's not doing something in a YOLO or impulse.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
It's still being tactful and thoughtful about what you want to do. This whole live your life and let's just do it. Like that's also not realistic.
No.
Yeah. There's balance, but it's like you're only going to be this age right now.
Exactly.
Right now, and it's like she's gonna come up on you next thing you know, 45, then 55, 65. Like,
yeah,
you're not gonna be the same person. So, man, for time going back, just back to the very beginning. 2 years, one mouth. Just 2 years, one mouth. Just less talking, more listening.
Yeah.
Less talking, more walking. That's a huge one. Yeah. More action.
Yeah.
Action will always beat talking. And then I think, dang, there was one other thing. I can't believe I dropped it. Less talking.
Call the Kijiji ad soon.
Fine. Oh,
make good
diet. That's the thing. Like, I'm a big boy. Damn. I think it's different now. Society's different now. They understand, like, you can't just be a meathead and you can never out-train a bad diet.
Yeah.
You can still be really fit and a big boy, but man, I wish I knew more about food way earlier on in my life.
Yeah.
So I know it has nothing to do with business, but
no. Hey,
kind of does.
And we've had all different types of industries on here, and I think there's just whatever that we're talking about is the subject, but I find, like, even to the point that you're making there with, like, I wish I would have known it sooner, like, that's replicable in a lot of things, whether it's health or money or business or whatever, and I think it's really well said on things that we often overlook, thinking like, it's not that important, but in reality, like, it has a very big compound effect, and it's those small little, like, habits that you create that are often, like, really hard to break off, and then you look back and you're like, man, it was, like, now that I know it, it's so simple.
Right.
So it's
drinking 800 beers is not good for you.
What?
Yeah, get out of here. It'd be interesting for you guys to see, like, because you've asked that question that many times. Have you guys ever gone back and, like, looked at all the answers and then maybe throw it in a chat GTP, find out, like, similarities, and then you could have, like, a top 5 list?
That would be actually a good idea.
Because there's probably some repeatable things, and you could be like, oh.
We've had some, like, I've had some where it's like, I've sat there and I'm like, oh, I gotta think about that for a little bit. But,
pass the Dutchie to the left, man.
It's always fun because, like, you know, we started this with Matt's idea as being, like, something that we wanted to do with a goal of really giving this platform for people to, you know, kind of not humble brag, but it's like, people here are way too humble about their experiences, and, like, a lot of people around here need to know about these experiences in order to go and have great experiences with their life. And it happens in your backyard, and it is your neighbor, and it is the guy you see at Costco. Like, it all happens here as well. But what I really love about this is that, like, it just, being a part of these conversations is just really awesome, and it's fun to, like, talk to people and to really just get super interested about their perspective, and hopefully people that are listening to it get the same from it. And both of you have been incredible guests on this one here, and
thanks for having us.
Honestly.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
And I'm gonna have to go to whatever game you're gonna tell me, what game that I should show up to get my feet wet.
Get your feet. What's your style? Board games, card games?
I don't have a style.
Models?
I will try everything once except meth or heroin. So
Flesh and Blood.
Yeah,
the real.
Card
so
game.
we'll just,
Flesh and Blood.
Yeah,
That's our number one invested card game. Beautiful community.
Okay.
Try it out.
Let's do it.
Or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon. Pokemon is a lot more fun than I think we realized.
Really?
I recently learned because I was trying to teach my kids.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I like this card game now. Like, yeah.
Amazing, guys. Thanks a lot. For those who are unaware, the hobby store is now close to where our Elmwood Design Center is. But we'll have everything in the bottom of our description. We'll have social tags, websites, all that stuff there, so that people can get their feet wet too with the hobby store, which hopefully a lot of those closet hobbyists will be like, oh shit, I didn't know about that, and then start showing up as well. So
yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Sweet.
Thanks for Gordo's help too.